One of the things that come in our SDK repo is a thing called Agentuity Coder. And Agentuity Coder is our internal set of dev agents that help us build our product. And so we put it in the SDKs in the different packages. And they come in two flavors. One is just Claude Code, and one is also Open Code as a plugin. And I'm going to show you the Claude Code one right now. So the Claude Code plugin is available. You can, if you have the Agentuity CLI installed, you can just run Agentuity AI Claude Code install, and it will install it that way. You can also do it via the Claude Code Marketplace. You open up Claude Code and say /plugin marketplace, and then add our marketplace, and then you can install it that way. The usage is pretty simple. There's a couple commands. One is Coder. Coder is the main agent team that we use internally. I'll go through what those agents are in a minute. There's also a Cadence /command. So that is basically the Ralph Wiggum loop. We just call it Cadence. And so that's a long running loop. And then there's a really important thing I'll talk more about here in a minute that we have in Coder, which is our memory, agent reasoning and memory. And so you can trigger a save. It'll automatically save and do things. But in this case, you can actually have a /command intentionally do it. And then you can also share any memory, and it's agentic memory. So it'll go through and you can tell it, hey, share this, but I care about this. And it will go through, find that stuff in the session, and then it will actually uses our durable streams and stores it there. And then you get a link, and then you can share that link with anybody. And then there's also a helper /command for sandboxes. So you can just tell the coder to use a sandbox for whatever you're doing, and it'll spin up a sandbox, spin up a Claude Code sandbox or whatever, and then run stuff in there as well. Of course, it'll do it agentically as well, but those are just commands to make it more pedantic. All right, so let's talk about the agents that are there. So we have a few agents. The lead is the orchestrator. It's the main agent that does pretty much everything. The Scout is the explorer. It's the code-based research, read-only, fast thing, has special instructions, especially for Agentuity projects. Builder is your code agent. And then Architect is more of a detailed coding agent that does special things related to overarching stuff. It actually keeps track of what's going on, works with the product agent as well. Memory is the kind of really special thing. So the memory one is the agent that recalls everything that's going on. And this isn't just file-based. What happens is because it uses your Agentuity account, it will use a key value and a vector store for your memories while you're working on it. So it'll remember the file you're working on, the project, the repo, even the user that's using it, the Agentuity user ID. And it'll remember that across sessions. And it's really, really powerful. It's worked so well for us so far. So the memory agent will at any time, any of these other agents can ask it, hey, I'm getting ready to work on this. What do I need to know? And depending on the context, the memory agent might go back and forth with it and go, well, what are you specifically going to do? Oh, you're doing that. Well, the last time we did that, this is what happened. You had to fix it this way, yada, yada, yada. So it's pretty powerful. It tries to manage the decay of that because obviously memories change fast, right? Especially with a bunch of agents involved. So it tries to manage that. And it also manages some inductive, abductive, and a few other different type of reasoning things as well. It's very powerful. It works really well too. Comes with a few skills: Agentuity backend, front end, the CLI, cloud services. So it knows how to use all of that. It's pretty powerful. Like I have one shot at, hey, I need to build an Agentuity full stack project with this kind of agent, this, and it'll just go and build it all. It just knows how to do it, which is great. We already talked about memory. Cadence mode, we already talked about. And then there's hooks here. This is how we do the session end, session start, and do some of the memory and cadence loop, Ralph Wiggum kind of perpetuation and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. If you want to use the latest, you can pull down the SDK repo, and then you can, I don't know if you know this, but you can say -- plugin dir and then point to that plugin. And so you can point to our packages Claude Code plugin if you want to do it that way. Or of course you can install it from the marketplace as well. All right, so I'm going to run Claude, point to my plugin in this case because I'm developing on it, but you can install it from the marketplace, like I said. So you can run Agentuity and you'll see your different slash commands here. I'm just going to use the cadence loop. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's try this again. Cadence loop, and then I'm going to just say plan out and make me a fizz buzz yes that I can use the whole team. Hopefully that'll trigger. This is such a simple example that it's so simple. So, the agent's going to be like, we don't need to do this. All right, cool. So it entered the loop. There you see the idea of the plan there, the loop plan. So it'll store that in key value. So it keeps track of where it's at. Now you see it spun up the product agent to just plan it out. And then the coder memory is what's going to remember how this is built and why it's built, or at least try to remember why it's built. This is a silly example, so not much to remember. And then it's going to go build it out. So it actually created phases. Again, because I'm intentionally over-architecting this FizzBuzz, right? But just to kind of demonstrate. So you'll see now it's running the rest of it. It's going to implement it, and then it's going to, when it's done, store a checkpoint in memory. So we always know what's going on. So if it crashes or if another team's working on another part of the PRD, they're all in sync all the time. So that's what's being managed here. That's what you see. In fact, if I open it up here, Control O, you can see where it saved this memory, broke it down where we're at, which is pretty cool. And now the reviewer comes in and will review the code and make sure it's a judge, right? LLM is a judge. So it'll review the original request, the original plan from the product PRD, and then it'll check things. It won't write code, but it'll make suggestions or say, hey, this is what doesn't match. And then if something doesn't match, it'll pass it off back to the builder. And then again, because this is a cadence loop, long running, we're bringing the whole team in, including the product person at the end. So with the cadence loop, the product person will get brought back in and review, exceeds expectations. Yeah, because it's over-architected. There you go. So it's just validating it. And there you go. Now the reviewer's saying, hey, it's not very reusable. And it'll go back and fix it really quick. And again, this is a simple example, but just to prove to you that it's done some pretty crazy things. If I go to my repo and go to VoxelCopter here, that whole team conceptually has built this as well. All right, just a little bit of fun there. But anyway, so this team is good at not just FizzBuzz, but making flight simulators too. And if I check on memory, you'll see there it is. It memorialized at the end of the session when it's done. It will memorialize, here's what we did, here's what we learned, here's the key decisions, things to note about, hey, this was a problem section or whatever. So it'll do all that as well. And that's pretty much it. So it's just closing it out there. We're using this internally a lot, and we want to share it with everybody else too. The cool thing is it uses Agentuity Cloud services too. So it comes with you. If your team is using it, then the memories get shared across the team, which is pretty useful as well. Hope you like it.